Good evening. We're going to be opening up the June 10th, 2025 meeting of the Halifax Conservation Committee meeting. We're going to be sitting in the Great Hall. We have an announcement to make. The conservation meeting is being recorded by Area 58 and can be viewed on YouTube. I just want to note that we do have some participants via Zoom. First order of business is 285 Home Street. It's a continued stormwater hearing for a permit for Prince Lovell and Ty on behalf of Liddell Development, LLC. This hearing is being held pursuant to a court order by Liddell Development, LLC versus the Halifax Conservation Commission, docket number 2583, CV 0009, Plymouth Superior Court. The first part of this matter is we took this under advisement. We didn't take it under advisement. We didn't actually close the hearing. What we did is we continued it, and I did make a small mistake. So what I'm going to ask is that the maker of the motion that we had last week, which I think was Ed.
Oh, yes, I made a motion.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to withdraw that, and I'm going to withdraw my second so that we can continue to discuss this.
I put a motion that we draw my motion.
Okay, and I'll put a motion in to withdraw my second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay. Counsel for Liddell, did you want to make any comments? Just identify yourself for the record, please.
Absolutely. Ann Sobolewski on behalf of the applicant, Liddell Development, LLC. The plans as revised to include certain minor changes that were requested by the Conservation Commission have been deemed to fully comply with your stormwater regulations and bylaw. As you know, this is pending litigation as a result of the denial originally. It is my understanding that at the previous meeting there was a lot of discussion about stormwater runoff from the property based on a recent storm. I would like to note for the record that as specified in the original hearings on this project, as stated by our engineer and as stated by the board's own reviewing engineer, this stormwater management design is created and proposed in order to solve the water runoff problems on the property. Had this been previously approved and constructed, then perhaps we wouldn't have had the situation that people came to the last meeting and complained about. The only reason that this project was proposed in the first instance was because there had been complaints of water runoff from the property, and we proactively created this design in order to solve those problems. So once again, we request that this be approved so that we can actually construct the system and prevent the ongoing stormwater runoff from the property. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do want to read this into the record. Our last meeting, we had a 4-member vote, and we're going to apply the Mullins rule. Pursuant to General Law, Chapter 39, Section 23D, the undersigned member of the board or committee or commission of the town of Halifax certifies that he or she has examined all the evidence received by said board, committee, or commission at the one session of its judiciary hearing on a matter identified below, which is undersigned member failed to attend, and that such evidence included in audio or video recording of the missed session or transcript thereof. This certification has been executed prior to the undersigned's participating in a vote on the matter and shall be part of the record of the hearing. It's signed by Kathy Evans. Okay. Having said that, I just want to kind of recap where we were last week. We had a presentation from the engineers and we had a presentation from the council. We had some discussion, and what I would like to do is to have a motion on the matter to continue to discuss it. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the project for discussion purposes.
I make a motion to open the discussion for 285 Home Street.
Okay, to approve it.
To approve it.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to point out that we've spent a lot of time on this particular plan. We did deny the plan, as council had indicated, because there were some issues with drainage basins and flow direction of the stormwater. The applicants has provided an updated plan. That plan does meet all of our stormwater standards and requirements. Although the plan might not be the best plan, it does meet all of our standards. So basically, as part of our decision is to either approve or not approve the plan. If we do approve the plan, we have the option of approving the plan with conditions. We had discussed some conditions last week. We have revised some of those conditions, and I just want to bring them to the Commission's attention. One of the conditions would be an updated stormwater report, which will be reviewed by our consultant. 2, the erosion control measures to be replaced with an 18-inch filter sock. 3, the review consultant will be required for all inspections, which include but not limited to bottom of the catch basins, retention basins, and so forth. 4, an as-built certification of the stormwater construction by the design engineer prior to occupancy. 5, one of the conditions, we're going to refer the plan to the zoning enforcement officer to determine substantial compliance with the site plan regulations. 6, we're going to refer this application to the Board of Selectmen for a determination on an earth removal permit. 7, we'd be looking to refer to the plumbing inspector for compliance with section 248 CMR 10.09, which is floor drains. Is there anything else the Commission feels as though we need to add, change, delete?
Mr. Chair, my understanding from before was that we may ask for a bond in this case. My concern is that, and the reason I voted no last time was that the Liddell property has been an issue for their neighbors for quite some time, that Mr. Liddell seemed reluctant to address these issues, and that I have some doubts as to no matter how many conditions we put on this, he may not comply to them without some sort of surety bond.
Okay. I apologize, that was on the previous list, but this has changed. So, okay, so number 8 would be a surety bond. And then we could determine after a vote the amount of that particular bond. Is there anybody else that's got any?
I have one thing. On the catch basins, as far as maintaining them, would it be worth having someone monitor that, like once a year, to make sure that
Okay.
it's
The answer to that question is that part of our stormwater special order conditions is going to require a quarterly inspection of the catch basins. That's one of our standard conditions in our stormwater. So there'll be quarterly maintenance. I don't recall how that's going to be the first year or second year, but we'll make that determined. That it is part of our standard conditions.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak
Hold
for a
on.
moment, please? Just
hold on.
briefly.
Just hold on. Okay, is there any other members of the board that? Okay, Paul? I'm in the middle of a vote, but I'll entertain it if you're going to be, it's something relative to what we're talking about.
It absolutely is. So because you have proposed these conditions with respect to zoning enforcement and site plan review, all of which are ultra vires and beyond the scope of your authority, we are not moving forward. We will continue with the lawsuit. Okay. We withdraw our request for a remand. We're not moving forward.
Okay.
We'll continue with the litigation.
Can you reach out to Naomi?
Yeah, Noemi, can you just discuss what we had talked about earlier this afternoon?
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. In terms of a condition, I don't think you can impose a condition to refer it. This wouldn't be a condition. What you could do is to simply notify the zoning enforcement officer, the plumbing inspector, that you reviewed these plans. You think there might be an issue. It would be up to them to make a determination and review those. So it wouldn't specifically be a condition because it's not something that the applicant is required to do. It would be simply the board providing notice that you reviewed these plans. You think there are issues that are out of your jurisdiction, that you would ask that the zoning enforcement officer or the plumbing inspector look at and they would be making that determination.
Okay, that's fine.
And I would just say, if there's any reference to the zoning enforcement officer, the plumbing inspector, the Board of Selectmen, we're still just going to go back and litigate the case. We're not interested in having there be anything that's beyond the scope of this board's authority in any sort of written
All
decision.
right, thank you. I mean, I think that we're probably going to finish up with the process. If they want to litigate it, that's up to them. Does any members of the board have any questions or concerns about, instead of referring it, notifying these different departments?
I have no issue with that.
No, that's
No
fine.
issue.
That's fine.
Okay. If we don't have any issue, we have a motion and we have a second to approve the stormwater management plan as revised for 285 Holmes Street. I will be looking for a vote. Paul?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Kathy?
Yes.
Alan, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Point of order. Vote. Yes, sir.
Bert Gannon from Halifax. Sorry to interrupt in the middle of the thing, but just for my own benefit, I don't understand. How is the board voting on an application, a proposal, if it's just been withdrawn? So if it's been withdrawn, why, I don't understand why you're going through the process.
I think it's beneficial to the town for us to complete the process. If they want to continue to litigate.
They just said they were going to withdraw, though.
Okay, I don't have anything in writing, and maybe Naomi can kind of counsel us on that. We had it in front of us, we were in the middle of a vote. I really didn't have to allow her to be heard because we're in the middle of a vote. I'm hoping that the
sorry to
decision that we made
interrupt.
is correct.
No, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think in this specific case, because it was remanded back to the board from the court, I'm not sure that it could necessarily just be withdrawn because it was pursuant to a court order. So I think you are correct to be voting on it. Certainly, if the applicant doesn't agree with the conditions, they can continue with the litigation, but you would still want to vote on it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Having said that, we voted, so unfortunately, there isn't any comment because we're in the middle of a vote. Okay, our next order of business, I think that concludes 285 Holmes Street, right? We'll issue the special order conditions next week. Okay. Next order of business is going to be a new hearing, Amanda's Way. John, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Town of Halifax Conservation Commission notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing conducted by the Halifax Conservation Commission under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 164 of the Town of Halifax, Halifax Wetlands Protection Bylaw on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Halifax Town Hall to consider an amended order of conditions submitted by Webby Engineering of Plimpton, Mass. On behalf of applicant Corey Merritt of Pembroke, Mass. The amended order of conditions is a proposal to amend the original order of conditions, excuse me, issuance date October 22nd, 2014, DEP number SE 1710421, located at Amanda's Way, Halifax, Mass., shown on Assessor's Map 14 and 15, lots 9, 6, and 13. Copies of the filing are available at the Conservation Commission's office at the Halifax Town Hall per request via email Peggy Selter at halifaxmass.org or by calling 781-590-3872 or 781-293-6768. Halifax Conservation Commission, Alan Diaz, Kathy Evans, Edward Lane, Paul Doucette, John Guillaume.
Okay, thank you. I'd be looking for a motion to open the hearing for Amanda's Estates.
I make a motion to open the hearing for Amanda's Estates.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Mr. Webby, you're representing Amanda's
Joe
Estates?
Webby, Webby Engineering, and with me is Amanda Monte, representing the owners of Amanda's Way. This roadway that's known as Amanda's Way now was constructed under an order of conditions back in 2014, and at that time, we had proposed here, a crossing right in this area approximately 200 feet with concrete blocks along the side to prevent erosion. And ultimately, the road was constructed, and it was constructed with landscaping or side slopes, 3-to-1 side slopes instead of the wall. And so that basically is what we're asking for, is an amendment to that condition. Beyond that, we had Brad Holmes go out and redelineate the wetlands, and what Brad had discovered from when he was there back in 2015, I'll let him speak for himself if he's available, is that we actually had less wetlands disturbance than we had proposed back in 2014, by quite a bit. So basically, this now, the green, I don't know why yours isn't green, but this area now is the wetland crossing that Brad Holmes has determined was filled or altered. And then what we would like to do is replicate a little bit of that area here and here at a 1 to 1.5 times. So again, I don't know if Brad was going to be available for some, to speak on that. I don't know if he's available or not. But,
Okay, let's just, if
Yep,
Brad's
there's Brad,
there,
yep.
why don't we'll
Yes,
let Brad
I'm available.
speak, relative to that, and then we'll have questions for both of you. Mr. Holmes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes with ECR. We looked at this in 2015. We actually did a deep dive into the area where the roadway crossing was. We met with the Army Corps of Engineers, the wetland scientists with the Army Corps, and they agreed with me that there wasn't the wetland there that was proposed for altering as far as a federal wetland and as far as a Army Corps scenario. So I knew that that area had a wetland line that was different than originally proposed on the plan. So when we got back into it, we did a new delineation to delineate the limits of the bordering vegetated wetland on either side of the roadway. Based on that delineation, we've shaded in the area where a potential wetland disturbance occurred, and we're proposing to replicate that at a ratio of 1.5 to 1, which is in excess of the state requirements for wetland replication. And we're revising the location so that we can access from the roadway and create the least amount of disturbance to the existing vegetated buffer there. So I think we've come up with a good plan to address the crossing of the wetland and comply with the order of conditions.
Okay, you can hold on. Let me just poll the board. If the board members have any questions, probably Mr. Webby first on the plan. I think some of you, all the members, maybe reviewed this. Any? Go ahead, John.
Mr. Webby, I'm not sure if you can answer this. So do you know what the success rate is for redoing wetlands, for replacing wetlands? From my understanding from other conservation commissioners that I've spoken to, it's about 50% success rate.
Well, I think that's a better answer
Mr. Holmes?
for Brad, but I think it's higher than 50% success rate. On the
I would say that it's much higher than 50%. What we've done is you'll see on the replication design a step-by-step process on how to perform that replication. So the wetland replications that I've been involved have always been successful.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And as we proposed, it's more than a 1-to-1, which the state requires, so that there is some 50% buffering if you're concerned.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any other questions at this point? On the plan, you don't mind bringing the plan back up? Sure. Brad, if you have that plan, can you go over some of the steps that you're proposing to create this, to replicate this?
Sure. If you go through the
Let her just bring the plan up a second.
right side of the plan, it has construction methodology. There's 15 steps, and I can just overview quickly, but first we stake out the areas. Any of the existing wetland species that are in the area of replication that we can save, we'll save. Install erosion controls, clear the vegetation from the replication area, And the next step is really the most important step is after we clear the replication area, we begin the excavation work. And at that time of excavation, we'll do some test pits. So a supervising wetland scientist like myself will work with the excavator operator and we'll set the base of the subbase of the replication area by digging some test pits to find the hydric soils within the replication area. That's step 5. And once the area is excavated, the next step would be to install the new high organic loam compost mix. And we're looking at least 6 to 8 inches of organic soils replacement on top. We'd also bring in some logs and other branches from the area to try to create some natural conditions. Then install erosion controls along the limit of the replication area, so we don't want anything coming into the area from up gradient. And then the replication plantings would be formed. We have, based on the size and DEP's spacing requirements, we have 28 saplings proposed and 64 shrubs proposed, along with a seed mix in and amongst the plantings. Wetland scientists would need to be involved throughout the process to work with the landscape contractor. Plantings would be mulched with a natural wood chip, just a natural organic mulch, not a processed mulch. The mulch helps protect the root ball of the plant and keeps moisture and helps to provide future nutrients. And any irrigation would be the responsibility of the contractor. And we'd be performing maintenance and monitoring for at least 2 growing seasons to make sure that the area doesn't get invaded by invasive species. And then we'd have monitoring and reporting requirements back to the commission, which I would know the commission would include as special conditions in the anticipated order. That's all detailed further in that step-by-step methodology.
Do you have a problem, I don't know who the wetland scientist is going to be, if our agent participates in that process as far as the inspections and or on site to kind of monitor some of this, depending on how much time the agent has?
Sure. If I'm involved, which I hope to be, I would certainly be agreeable to working with the agent. And that could be a condition that's written into the order.
Okay. Mr. Webby, is there anything you want to add?
No.
Any board members got any questions for Mr. Holmes? Hearing none. Do I have any questions from the audience? This is on Amanda's estate. This is the amended order of conditions. Do I have any questions from anybody in the audience? Any concerns? Okay. Seeing none. What's the board's pleasure? Unfortunately, could we take a look at one of those plans, if you don't mind? A couple of those plans. I just want to take a minute. I did take a look at the plan. If you can just pass a couple of those out. Maybe you guys can share these. On the top right-hand side is the planting schedule and schematic. Of what is supposed to be going in there. Mr. Holmes, is the purpose of this restoration is more compensatory for the storage of any new stormwater?
It acts as storage because we're going to be increasing the size of the wetland, actually, 1.5 times more than was taken. So the intent is to restore wetlands, but at the same time, we're dropping the elevation of the earth there to create wetlands. So we're going to have more flood storage capacity than actually existed prior because we're adding 50% more.
Okay. I just want to let them take a look at the plan, just to see if any board members have any questions on the plan itself. I notice that we have the size of the trees and the quantity. One other question that I did have, in discussing this with the agent, because she went out and did the delineation, she thinks we'd like to have an inspection of all the imported materials to make sure that they're going to be consistent with what's on the plan. Because you're using a mulch, so I'm assuming you're going to use a natural, either a wood mulch, nothing with any construction debris or anything like that in it. So
Correct.
she would want to make that inspection. And was there anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
Quick question. On the sediment control barriers, what are you going to be using?
I would propose straw wattles because we have such a gentle slope. There's not much of a topography here to need more than a straw wattle.
What kind of barrier? I didn't hear that. A wattle?
I would propose a straw wattle, yes.
Straw wattle, okay, I'm sorry, okay. Okay. Any other questions? No, sir. Okay. Yep. Just identify yourself for the record.
Gordon Andrews, 244 Elm Street. With the replication zone, with the buffering requirements, is that going to put a buffer onto the abutter? Is the abutter going to lose access to his land?
I'm not sure of the question.
Well, if you're going to put in new wetlands,
Correct.
and there's what's the buffer in town, 100 feet because of the town's bylaws? Are you going to put a buffer, a no touch onto the abutter with these plans? Because it looks like it.
No touch zone to the abutter. Mr. Webby, you're gonna have to just point out. I see a line, but you can tell me. Okay, is that a lot line, that line below the green line? Because we got two different plans here. That a?
Yeah, this is a property line. This would be the proposed replication. As far as I know, you only have a 50-foot no-touch and a 100-foot jurisdictional. It would be on the neighbor's property, the 100-foot, yes.
So the 100-foot would be?
Yes.
Okay, but that's just jurisdictional.
Just jurisdictional, yeah. There's more than 50 feet to the property line.
So could we maybe suggest conservation posts? I guess, what's the impact on the abutter? Is there an impact
I don't
on the
believe there's
abutter?
any impact because we have a pipe, equalization pipe going under the road. So any water that's coming into this area is ultimately going out to the, and keeping going south.
Okay, so
Like
you don't
the water flow goes now.
anticipate, you don't anticipate any storage?
No, well, it'll be temporary storage, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just slows it down until it gets out. But everything's gonna go out through this pipe, which what it does now.
Okay. Does the commission feel as though there should be posts? Are they inclined?
I think the question is more okay, this is affecting the neighbor's property. Like, I'm no expert, but if this makes his land, he can't touch his land, more of his land, due to this new proposed wetland area. Like hypothetically, say if this was where the old wetland is, he had more room on his property than he can use.
Okay. Mr. Webby, can you give me an idea as to what the distance is between
I may add
mine and your
to the commission,
your new-
that property is already in the buffer zone. If you can see, the replication area is kind of drawn between the where the wetland juts out. So the wetland's closer to the property as you move to the north. So they already have a buffer zone on that lot. It's not going to be any more than what would be in the northern portion.
Okay, so let me see if that answers your question. Mr. Andrews, the answer is that,
Yeah,
I
it
believe,
hits his property.
because of the wetlands that's on, I don't see on the northern portion, there shouldn't be any further impact to the neighbors. He's going to be in the buffer zone.
He's in the buffer zone now.
He's in the buffer zone now, okay.
Even doing anything, the 100 feet from the existing wetland line is on his property now.
Okay.
So it's jurisdictional. This is approximately, at the widest point, is around 35 feet.
35
The
feet,
rest of it is-
okay. Good. Gentleman had your hand up.
No, I think I figured it out.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any other questions? Anybody have any concerns? Does anybody feel as though we need any conservation posts? And I think, Caitlin, you had looked at that. That's heavily wooded, so.
It is.
Yeah, so nobody's gonna get in there anyways, right? Okay. Okay. Anything else from the audience? Hearing nothing, I am looking for a motion to close the hearing for Amanda Estates.
Make a motion to close the hearing for Amanda Estates.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Mr. Webb, before you go, we do want to discuss a couple of orders, or the order of conditions that are going to be part of this. And one of them is going to be on-site inspections with the agent, with whoever the wetlands supervising scientist. And they do want to do an inspection of the imported materials, compost, mulch, and loam. And I'm inclined, if the board's so inclined, that the wetland scientist should provide a report probably 60 days, 90 days, 180 days out. I'm a little flexible there, Caitlin, unless you got some ideas. Or,
Yeah, maybe 90 days out.
so maybe 90 days out. Mr. Webb, you got a comment on that?
No, but if the commission would like to have some money to pay for those inspections, we certainly will provide, if you want to have a fund.
Okay. Well, we're getting to that.
Okay.
Okay. So we're looking at potentially 90 days? Okay, so potentially 90 days from the first inspection? And I think on this particular one, I know the commission hasn't in the past, but to ensure, John had a very good point. I think it's kind of factual that wetlands replications don't work as well as they're designed. And I think Brad said that you said it was 50%. It's probably 75 or 80%. So I think this might be appropriate for a bond to make sure that the work is completed, it's done, and that length of that bond would be about 2 years. Anybody got any comments on that? Those would be my suggestions. Ed, any ideas on one? Okay, just to make sure that, Caitlin? Any?
I don't think I have anything further. That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Mr. Webby? Basically, what we'll do is the project's approved, we'll issue order of conditions. Security bond amount, you want to discuss that? $5,000? That seem appropriate? Mr. Webby?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Matter is closed. We'll issue an order of conditions, which will be ready, I guess, next week. Anything else on this? No? Okay. All right, next order of business. Thank you. Next order of business is the Halifax watershed, which we are going to hold at this point. And our next item on our agenda is 314 Plymouth Street, stormwater management permit update. I am going to defer that to Caitlin because we spent an hour or so on the phone.
Yeah, so just an update on this. Last time we spoke about this, there was some confusion on the permitting and what was issued and what wasn't. So the stormwater was approved, but was never issued a stormwater management permit. So we set up a call with Casco, had discussion with them, because once they go to receive a certificate of compliance, they're not going to be able to receive one because we won't have any sort of inspections of the stormwater management system to issue that. So we are working with them to resolve that and come up with a stormwater management permit. I'll put that together. I'll have the board review. We can approve that, and then we will issue that to them. Just so that's in place, we can inspect what's going on, so they can eventually close out in compliance with us.
I do want to add something in. We did get some complaints after we had the 4-inch rain that water from 340 Plymouth Street, no, 314 Plymouth Street was coming out onto Route 106. I did bring that to their attention. They took a lot of notes from our conversation. They're going to provide us with the original plan that they submitted. But since that plan, there's been some revisions in the plan. Fire chief required some turning radiuses, increases and improvements, which probably increases the impervious areas, but probably not that much to worry about stormwater. So we'll work to try to come up with a plan so that we don't get any water onto Plymouth Street and this project can move forward, and then we'll be able to sign off when everything is done. Questions? No. Okay. 22 Beechwood?
Yeah, so last we spoke, the Matt Dyer will be doing the plantings. He's going to submit us a sketch of the species of plants that's going to be put in and where they're going. So we have not received that yet, so I'll check in with them, see if they'll be ready for the next meeting.
I'm gonna let you handle 615 Montpont Street. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
confused.
so as of yet, we have not received an NOI for 615 Monpont Street. The property owner did notify me that he was working with Joe Webby, but that was probably 3 months ago, I want to say. So I'm not sure where that stands. I can follow up with him again, but I don't believe any work has been done on the property since, that I've seen.
No work has been done, but I had indicated to Caitlin that there is a special permit application in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm not sure what that is, to replace the house, but we'll just keep following that up. We haven't really issued any enforcement issues on this. I think the young fellow just kind of made a mistake. But
And I did make a comment on that, because that's through the building department permitting. I did make a comment that he had come in and discussed with us and that he is to initiate an NOI with us. So that's at least out there and aware on the portal there.
76 Pratt Street.
So I went out to do an inspection on Pratt Street on June 3rd. So according to the approved plan, there was supposed to be 6 bayberry, 6 high bush blueberry, 5 shadbush, and 5 witch hazel. All of that was out there. I got a count on everything. Everything was labeled, so it was nice and easy. So the property owner followed according to the plan. They put the seed mix down, and that took. However, he did indicate to me, and I didn't see the jute matting out there. He said he ordered it, but by the time it came in, everything started sprouting anyway. So, I mean, where it took, I don't see any reason to have the jute matting in place now. Ed, I know you went out there, and I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, it's picking up, especially with the rain, everything is helping it grow in.
Yeah.
Did it look okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
he hasn't
So
touched or anything.
why don't we, I don't want to move, I'll soon keep it on the agenda.
Okay.
And then we'll just see what happens in a month. We'll just keep it on.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, the jute was just a comment only because if the side slope is great, it prevents it from washing.
Yeah.
All right. 111 River Street.
111 River Street. So last we talked about this, I'd reached out to Ecosystems to see next they were going out. I haven't heard from them. So I did reach out to Susan Jason to see if we could set up a time to meet. I haven't heard from her yet, but I'm hoping we can get out there soon.
Let me just make a suggestion. If you want to take a couple of members, I would just send Ecosystems an email, I'll do it if you want to, that you're coming out Thursday morning. If one of these gentlemen are available to go out just to do a site visit. We do have that right, but I mean, this has been ongoing for the last month about when can we go, when we can't go, and so forth and so on. So I don't know if you guys want to flip a coin, or maybe Paul, John, if you guys are available. Have you been on that site at all?
I have not, and I'm not available on Thursday.
Oh, that's right, Thursday. Paul, would you might be available on Thursday?
I am available.
Just let them know that you're coming out, whatever time.
Okay.
I could go too also.
Okay, and Kathy wants to go too.
Okay.
It rained. Boots. Then please.
Boots.
Don't bring your truck and pull.
Can I have the bills, please?
You sure can.
Okay, so you're just gonna go out there on Thursday? Yep. See whatever's happening, long as, it's supposed to be warm. Okay, next item on our agenda is, the bills to be paid. So I need a motion to,
I put a motion that we pay the bills.
do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
May 27th meeting minutes.
Yep.
She did send them out. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, she did, yeah. I got them.
Yeah, there's two.
I'll switch with you.
I know I did read them, didn't we, just? Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I would be looking for a motion to approve the May 27th meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the May 27 minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
When you're in here, so we'll send it down. But I did find out you don't have to be here. Same meeting.
Sign.
Yeah.
Blame Caitlin for only 4 spots.
Oh, can we blame Peggy? She can't hear us, right? Oh, wait a minute, I'm on tape.
All right. Do we have any other business that needs to come in front of the board? Caitlin, anything you need to?
No, I think that covers it.
I'm looking for a motion to adjourn at 7:40.
7:43.
43?
Yep.
Okay. Looking for a motion to adjourn at 7:43.
I put a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.